Hi, I'm State Representative Ross Smith from Waterloo. And this November, Black Iowans all across the state can help us decide this election. That is if we decide to lift our voices and vote. Now, voting by mail is safe and easy. But if you're like me and you want to vote in person, you can do that too. On October 5th, you can vote at your county auditor's office. The only way that we make change in our communities is through voting. For any questions, go to iwillvote.com/Iowa.
What's up, Shekinah?
What is up, Robbie J?
How you doing?
I am magnificent. How are you?
So people don't know we've been friends for like 15 years.
15 years.
Yeah. Has it been longer than that?
It feels longer sometimes. I don't, 2005? A little bit. Sometimes. Sometimes. I try to be nice. Welcome to the Urban Impact Show. We miss you, family. It's been a little minute.
I mean, at least be nice because we have guests, you know.
You're right. I'll be on my best behavior.
Thank you. So let me start off this show by letting everybody know. Check this out. We're in the year 2020.
Absolutely.
And last time y'all was here, I told y'all that if a goat, half chicken, was standing on the corner with a squirrel with cornrows clapping, I would be like, yo, this is 2020. That's real.
Right.
That just happened.
That really happened.
So now we're in the middle of an election year. Mm-hmm. We have U.S. Senate candidates running.
Absolutely.
We have obviously our U.S. congressional candidates running, state representatives. We have some Iowa Senate candidates, some state Senate candidates. Mm-hmm. Then, of course, you know, the grandfather of them all, literally two granddads. He's going when they watch this, they're gonna talk about me, but it's okay.
Yes, that will definitely happen.
And then, of course, we have Trump versus Biden happening right now as well. In the state of Iowa, for those who are watching this from across the country, in the state of Iowa, we have Senator Joni Ernst versus Democratic candidate Theresa Greenfield. And we are excited because we have the opportunity this time to interview the Democratic Senate candidate, United States Senate candidate, Theresa Greenfield.
Teresa, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you are running for the U.S. Senate.
Well, thank you for the invitation to be here. Again, I tell you, I'm so excited. You know, I'm just a regular Iowan, I have to tell you. I'm a small businesswoman. I've been running small businesses from bean walking crews on the farm. And if you don't know what those are, I can help you. But also working my way up to being the president of a small business. And by small, I mean we have 8 employees. But again, that is Iowa, real small businesses. I'm a mother of 4. My kids are all out of the house, so I'm an empty nester mom. I kind of dig that. But I'm also a military mom, and I'm really proud of all of the work that our sons and daughters do to keep us safe here at home and abroad. And I'm a farm kid. I grew up on a little farm outside of a town of 500. I had a high school class of, wait for it, 24.
Whoa.
Like really small. But here's the deal. On my farm, and I'm really proud of the way I was raised, my dad always said there's no boy jobs and there's no girl jobs. There's just jobs that need to get done. And that attitude has followed me my whole life. Washington has got a lot of jobs that we need to get done, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, and I got in this fight to get some of those jobs done.
And you know, it's a lot going on in the world today, kind of like Rob alluded to. And sometimes you get lost in the sauce of all that, right? What do these roles mean? What does the Senate do? What does the House do? What is the president? What's the VP? My sidewalk isn't fixed. When I call the police, who comes to my house? How does that work? Right. And we're here to break all of that down for you and make sure that this is like relatable.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, your vote has power. And we want you to exercise that power to impact the community that you live in. And if you are not exercising that power, I hope that at the end of this show, something that Robbie J says or something that I say or Theresa Greenfield says or any of our other guests will help motivate you to take advantage of that opportunity. And when I'm talking about that opportunity, I'm talking about judges that govern over what's happening in our country as well as our state. I'm talking about funding of different institutions. I'm talking about, in addition to whether there's a grocery store in your neighborhood. I'm talking about the access to education, the access to health care, when there are over 210,000 people that are no longer on this earth. because of a virus in this country, around the world, right? And so we have a great time on the Urban Impact Show, but this has never been more serious for you to engage with us and take advantage of this opportunity. Make sure you are reaching out to these candidates. I have a picture of a sample ballot. We can post that on our page so that you know what's on the ballot and you can be prepared. But I won't get preachy. I'm not a candidate. So
real quick,
we're going to do this.
Something you said that I love, because it's going to lead me right into you, Miss Theresa Greenfield.
Put a miss on that.
You know, it's going to lead me right into you. So something she said, she talked about, you know, like if you want your streets fixed versus a vote for the Supreme Court justice.
Yes.
Right? Those are two completely different things that you go to two completely different people for.
Yeah.
Right? And I know that a lot of people take all of their issues and they say, all right, Theresa Greenfield, what are you going to do about, you know, this? We don't have any grocery stores from East 14th all the way to the fairgrounds for the African American and the Hispanic population in that area, right? And you're like, look, I can vote from the Senate side, from the U.S. Senate side, to help get funding for this. How it's implemented is based upon other people,
Right.
And so I found myself sometimes at the marches trying to tell people, you're asking the wrong person for the wrong thing. Like, they're going to listen to you because they're a politician, right? Like, hence somebody who was like, yeah, definitely want police reform. And then there was nothing they could do about police reform. Right? I was like, we wasted our time asking you about
Absolutely.
that. You know, so I want to throw it to you. First of all, welcome to the show.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Can we get that virtual hand clap?
Round of applause.
I know Big Will is behind me clapping, so welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here. Great to be with all of you today.
Yeah.
Love your show. And I'm looking forward to the conversation. It is an honor to be running for the United States Senate. Just an honor. It will be more of an honor to serve.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Absolutely.
I like what she said, serve.
Yes.
Right? And I can't really say what I want to say.
Don't do it.
So edit this part out. So, Theresa Greenfield, let's jump right in it.
Absolutely.
COVID-19 has literally wrecked our country. Right now, we know that according to how Senate works, that Mitch McConnell, as the majority leader of the Senate, he determines what is voted on and what comes to the House. What comes to the floor. A lot of people don't know that you would be a part, if elected, you would be a part of a committee that's a part of a subcommittee. What comes out of subcommittee goes to the major committee. And the majority party or the ranking member of that committee determines whether that goes to the leader of the Senate. The leader of the Senate then determines what comes to the floor. So, obviously, we know that there's a stimulus package right now that's on hold because of COVID-19. It's wrecked our country. If you were senator right now, how would you vote to help Iowans during this time, especially during the pandemic?
Well, Rob, you're hitting on one of the most important things that's going on right now that is affecting people's lives. And I think this COVID-19 pandemic is going to be one of the most consequential events of certainly my lifetime, whether it's the healthcare tragedy or the economic tragedy. And it has devastated all of us, and Washington has failed us. I have been calling for months for a phase 4 stimulus package. We have to get more help out to Iowans and out to Americans. And for me, that really focuses on 3 topics, 3 buckets of help. The first one is health and safety. I think Washington, again, has failed us on setting clear guidelines from the top on down, how we get through this pandemic together. So we need to invest in more PPE, more testing, more contact tracing. I've been calling for a statewide mask mandate, making sure that, one, the White House task force is asking for it for Iowa. And, you know, with our infection rate so high, hospitalization rate so high, and Iowans continuing to lose loved ones, we can all do our part and wear a mask. Second bucket.
Somebody
workers.
tweet that. We can all do our part and wear our masks. TG.
Second bucket, workers. Unemployment rates are astonishingly high, very high. And at one point during COVID, they were higher than they'd ever been since the Great Depression.
Wow.
And so we need to take care of our workers. Folks want the dignity of providing for their families. They're not unemployed because they're lazy. They're unemployed because of this economic crisis. We need to extend those expanded unemployment benefits at the full $600. We need another round of direct relief. Paid sick leave. Folks should not have to decide if they go to work sick or if they stay home and take care of themselves or a family member. They can't afford to lose a paycheck or maybe lose their job. So we need paid sick leave. And so focusing on our workers and those kinds of issues, emergency protection standards. So every business knows how to open, profits, our churches, our schools, and our employees and our customers so we can operate safely. Goodness knows I want to get back to a football game and a concert. And then go Bears. And then my third bucket is our economy and rebuilding that. And Iowa is a state of small towns and small businesses. And whether I've talked to bakeries, whether I've been to a brewery, I was out in a bowling alley, and I don't mean to pull an alliteration on you, but truly, their cash flows and revenues are down 60 to 80%. Yeah. And I had a minority business owner I met with up in Fort Dodge, does a cleaning company. He's down 80% because businesses are closed. He's not cleaning. And he thought that he'd be out of work after the new year, that contracts wouldn't be renewed and his business would be done. And then how's he going to pay the rent for his family? So we need to focus on those three things. The other group that is being hit pretty hard is our local governments, counties, cities. That's where our first responders, our sanitation workers, that's where they're all working. We need to get some direct relief to them. So that's where I would start. And I would be sticking in Washington until we got something done. Working across the aisle. You know, one of the reasons I got in this race was to put Iowans first. Yeah. And I am more than willing and looking forward to working with anyone to get these kinds of jobs done, because COVID doesn't affect just Democrats or just Republicans.
Right. Absolutely. And when you talk about getting jobs done, no girl jobs, no boy jobs, we have a real job to get done in this country, specifically in this state, in regard to social justice. Yes. We have incarceration rates that are not proportioned with our population. We have judges, and just people in different roles of authority that are not reflective of the population. It's very skewed, and there have been protests and calls into question about things that are going on in this state, not just this country. And so tell the viewers a little bit about your thoughts on social justice and systemic racism, and what, if elected, what would Theresa Greenfield, as a U.S. Senator representing the state of Iowa, look like to impact that social justice going on in our state?
Thank you for that question, because this is something I get asked about and people are talking about in every corner of the state. And I've done over 300 campaign events. Yeah. So your question is not singular. Yeah. Look, Black and brown communities have been facing discrimination for generations. Yeah. And that has led to systemic racism in all of our systems, whether it is policing, whether it's housing, whether it's education, whether it's lending, healthcare. So I'm going to just give you a couple ideas of where I want to go. Let's talk about education. I think Democrats talk about four-year college an awful lot. Yahoo, that's good. Me, I want to invest in debt-free trade schools, technical schools, community colleges, so absolutely every one of our students has a path forward that is going to be something they can afford, debt-free. So you might have to get a job, but you should not come out of that experience of gaining skills with any debt, or at least something so minor, debt-free. That sets up everybody to have skills to get living wages, and even better yet, to start their own small businesses. I want to couple that with capital and credit, and this is where I think minority-owned businesses really will benefit. They don't have lines of credit. Most of them don't have enough cash in the bank to get through a month or two of ups and downs. We need to make sure that that's available. So folks getting skills can start small businesses. Businesses that want to grow can hire those folks with skills. So leveling that playing field education-wise, that's one big part. And then healthcare. Clearly, there are disparities in healthcare, and I'm just going to go off on one of them if you don't mind. And it's for the ladies. Sorry. Maternal mortality rates.
That's real.
Are real. and they're going up, and they are much higher in the Black community.
Yeah.
And we need
four times higher.
Right.
There you go. Four times. That's
Unacceptable.
wrong.
Yeah.
Unacceptable. That's wrong. Certainly there are things we can do. I was delighted to hear that the University of Iowa is part of a grant program. They just got issued with, I think, a few other states to study this and make implementation changes. But one of the things I think we absolutely have to do is make sure that new moms are kept on their health care. For no reason can they be kicked off after that first year, whether it's Medicaid, whether it's private. I don't care if they lose their job and they lose their health care. They have to be kept on. That first year after giving birth to our precious little babes is critical to moms doing well. So that's two issues I just bring up today. But I could be happy to come back and talk more.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Robbie J?
Well, that's something that you would be able to vote on, right? And I always go back to what you said in the beginning. These are things that she can control, right? All of the other stuff when it comes to what Black folks are asking for, right? When it comes to what the Black community is asking for, these are things that she can vote on.
Right.
And obviously, we talked in our last show about Black folks are leading in categories that we don't want to lead in.
Absolutely.
Right? Count the Kicks have pointed out that Black women are losing their babies 4 times higher than any other ethnicity in this country.
Shout out to Count the Kicks. They're doing like specific efforts targeting Black women because there's challenges there.
Yeah, it is. And I just got sent a story about that, so I'm so glad to hear that you talk. And honestly, that's not even a woman thing. That's like a
humankind.
It's a family thing.
Yes.
Because if we don't have more children, right? What happens to the world? But anyway, so,
and Black women are a great asset to this country.
Yeah, shout out to Sheldon being in the building. As the son of a Black woman.
I know that's right.
Go Sheldon.
You too, Robert.
Exactly, right? and so, but I'm super glad. So I know we're running out of time, but I wanted to just talk a little bit about voting rights, right? Because man, the Supreme Court took a heavy hit to voting rights when it allowed for states to take a step back and allow ID laws, different things that to me and to Brother Will looks like a poll tax, right? It looks like things, come on, step up and vote. My mentor, Dr. Amos C. Brown, was telling me that he got involved in voting because there was a guy named George Washington Lee. He was a Black Baptist pastor that was killed for registering Black people to vote and having their name on the voting law. Yeah. He said he sprung into action in August of 1955 after seeing the mutilated face of Emmett Till on the cover of the Ebony Jet magazine. And so voting is so important. It is so important. How would you help protect voting rights if you are given the opportunity to serve in the United States Senate?
Oh, fantastic question. Voting is fundamental to our democracy, and it has been under attack for a long time. And we have seen voter suppression around this country from states like Texas, where they don't even allow absentee ballot voting. You have to show up in the polls. All across this country. So we have to make voting easier, not harder. We have to end the attacks and the suppression. And I think one thing that I can do in the United States Senate is vote on the John Lewis Voting Right Advancement Act.
Yes.
And get our country back in line with making it easier, not harder. And then, like you guys, just keep talking about voting, helping people make sure they have a plan to vote.
Yeah.
And then when you're done voting, run for something.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if you want your voice at the table, run for something.
Yeah.
And, we've got a lot of great Black leaders in the state, but we don't have enough.
Yeah.
We don't have enough at the local level, at the state level, and at the federal level. So all of us need to run for something. We need to support our candidates and make sure that our voices are there by then voting for them.
Absolutely. And, talking about voting, we want to make sure that you know about iwillvote.com/Iowa. So if you have not voted yet, which there are lots of you out there, but iwillvote.com/Iowa, you go there and make sure that you are registered. October 24th is Robbie J, keep me honest.
Yes.
October 24th is the last day to register to vote early.
Correct.
But November 2nd is the last day that you can actually vote early, because voting on time would be November 3rd for the actual election. So with early voting and with voting on the day of the election, if you have not registered to vote by November 2nd, at the end of the day, you come in on November 3rd and you want to vote, what do you have to bring? 2 forms of mail, a blood sample, a piece of hair. Literally, it's not all that, but it's 2 forms of mail, 2 forms of ID, a piece of mail, and your voter registration.
Correct.
I believe that's it. Fact check me, people. But
And you know they will. Our viewers always love to make sure that we're correct.
we have to be correct. I don't
Yes.
mind, you know,
And I
because
love
we want to come correct. But this is the opportunity. I want to make sure you're informed about what you can do, when you can do it, and how we can impact this change. And so take advantage of that. iwillvote.com/Iowa, October 4th, November 2nd, November 3rd. The last November 3rd. So make sure you are with us and engaged. If you have any questions, hit us up in the comments and let us know, or send us a DM. Send Rob a DM. Don't send me a DM. We can definitely help you when it comes to voting and getting information for our candidates.
So, final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Well, I'll tell you what, one of the biggest reasons I got in this race was for hardworking Iowans in particular, folks that are struggling to pay the bills and provide for their families. And for me, it really comes from the experience of being widowed at the age of 24. And I got the helping hand of Social Security. It worked out well for me. I'm not so sure it would have worked out well for a 24-year-old single black woman, but it worked out well for me. I went back to school and I got that very first job, and it was for $8 an hour. Now, it wasn't much, but I got my dignity back, and I knew I was now on a path where I could provide for my family, and I'm going to be fighting for that for all of us. And so my promise to you, Rob, is that I'm not going to forget who I am, where I'm from, and who I'm fighting for. So I hope to earn everyone's vote. But most important, get out and vote. Make your voices heard.
And where can they get more information on you and your platform?
They can head out to greenfieldforiowa.com. And you two are pretty crafty. You probably can help them get in touch with someone on my campaign, too.
Shekinah is going to probably post it a little bit later. As y'all can tell, she's over here writing notes. She does this every show.
I'm engaged and I'm listening. I don't take it lightly that you give us your time and your attention. And this is an important issue. When we talk about impacting urban communities, neither Rob nor I take it lightly. He just does it mentally and I do it physically.
Love it.
Thank you so much for your time. You are a wealth of information.
I just want to say this real quick. The fact that you all took time to come here and talk about black issues.
Yes.
Lets us know that the black vote is important.
Absolutely.
Lets us know that when you get to this seat, that what you would do for the African American community, you will listen, you will hear, and when votes come up in the Senate that could harm your constituents that look like Shekinah and I, you would take a step back and say, hey, let's call Reverend Rob, let's call Shekinah, let's call Will or KO. Let's figure out if this is equitable for the people that I serve. Yeah. And so that's definitely what I appreciate, and I had to drop that in there.
Thank you very much. You know, absolutely, I'm listening, and there's been a lot of research done, but it's also time for action. Yeah. And so I look forward to coming back to your show, doing some listening, getting some questions maybe from the audience. I don't know if you guys do that kind of thing, but whatever.
Trust me, they gonna drop some questions.
Okay, good.
Once this is released, they gonna have some questions. Trust me.
All right,
we'll send them to your team.
Please do.
And then you can just respond on Twitter, and then we'll be ready to go.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much. Be well, please.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely, my pleasure and honor.
Thanks.